In open session, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Steinberg, you may continue. Would you take it up from where we stopped yesterday, the pejorative terms, what they mean?
Yes, Your Honor, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. If you recall when we left off yesterday afternoon, you had told the court, in response to a question put to you by the presiding judge, whom called whom what? Your answer was the Kalenjin people, and this came during when the election was about to, used to refer to the Kikuyu as Madoa Doa. And my first question is, what language is that word Madoa Doa?
Madoa Doa is a Swahili word.
And can you explain, please, to the court what it means in English?
It simply means if, for instance, a piece of paper is white color and it is dotted with blue dots, green dots, or yellow dots. These are normally referred to as Madoa Doa against a white sheet of paper.
And can you explain to the court the significance of this term as it was applied to the Kikuyu in your area?
Can you repeat?
Yes. How was this term used with respect to the Kikuyu in the Langas area?
This, in my view, referred to Kikuyus as having inhabited area or land belonging to the Kalenjins.
And what was to become, or what should be done with these Madoa Doa?
Usually, if one is to return the color of the white paper in its original color, you have to do all what is necessary to wash or to clear the Madoa Doa and remain with original color of the paper.
I see. Now, besides this term Madoa Doa, were any other terms, derogatory terms, used for either party?
There was also another name used by Kalenjins also, referring to Kikuyus.
What was that term?
That was Kwekwe.
For the record, that is spelled K-W-E, K-W-E, correct?
Yes.
And can you explain firstly what language that is, and then what is the English meaning?
Kwekwe is also a Swahili word in English. It simply means weeds growing against the plants in the land.
And in what context was that word kwekwe applied to the Kikuyu?
To Kikuyus, it also meant that we had grown into a land belonging to some other people, meaning that we are not part and parcel of that particular area.
And what was to happen to these kwekwe, these weeds?
Usually, to a farmer, when kwekwe grows in his land, the only way out is to uproot the weed so as to give the farmer's plants to grow well.
And can you please tell the court where and when you heard these terms being used, being applied to the Kikuyu in the Langas area?
This came apparently about 3 months to the election.
And who did you hear using these terms?
Well, our political rivals used these words to refer to Kikuyu.
Just for the record, who are you referring to when you mention your political rivals?
To that I mean, we as Kikuyu, we were in a different political party, and Kalenjins were in a different political party.
And which political party were the Kalenjins in?
The Kalenjins were all allied to the ODM party.
Were there any occasions, well, did you ever attend or were you ever present at any ODM rallies or events where ODM leaders were speaking?
Prosecutor, I do not want to stop you from pursuing that line of question you're about to open up. But to complete this exercise, I believe the witness yesterday also testified that there was also a pejorative terminology. Okay, can you also explore that? That the Kikuyus called the Kalenjins. Can we also do the same exercise in that regard? What it means and all that?
Of course, Your Honours, I apologize. As His Honour has pointed out, you also mentioned that there was a term used by Kikuyu, a pejorative term to refer to Kalenjin, and you said that was, and correct me if I pronounce it wrong, Dashuri. Is that correct?
It's Gashurie.
Dashurie. And is that also a Swahili word?
No,
What language is that?
that is a Kikuyu language.
And what does that mean in English?
Or it simply means hugging up.
Did you say hanging up?
Yes.
And can you explain the significance of that name as it was applied to the Kalenjin?
If I may explain, in Kalenjin culture, there was this used to cut their ears, and then after they would hang that part over the remaining part. So in Kikuyu language, putting over that part to the next one, we call it Goshuria.
And perhaps for the record, the witness indicates with his hand that the lobe of the ear is cut and draped from behind over the top of the ear. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yes.
May I then proceed, Your Honor?
Witness, have you finished the explanation you are going to give to the meaning of Dashuria?
Yes.
Thank you. Prosecutor, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Witness, can I then take you back to my previous question relating to whether or not you had occasion to attend or be present at any rallies or speeches made as part of the ODM political campaign?
Well, it was by coincidence.
Okay, 1 second, please. Can we safely proceed, Prosecutor?
Your Honor, provided I know where the witness is going, and provided that he refers to the names on the PIS sheet as to where he was proceeding and who he was proceeding to meet, I think we can proceed safely in open session.
Witness, the reason I stopped is I do not know what answer you are going to give, but I want to just remind you that we are now in open session, and be careful not to inject personal identifying information, and not only identifying information, but also unique features of a story, in the sense that it could happen something that happened with you and one or two other people, so that when you relate that sort of story to the public, whoever you are with at the time will know it's you that is testifying. So that is what some of the concerns we have to guard against. But if your answer is not going to contain information of that sort, either personally identifying information or very particular stories that only a few people observed with you, you may proceed.
On answering that question, I may be forced to mention one.
Then let's go into private session to get this answer and see if we can get out immediately afterwards.